It was a quiet afternoon in the suburbs, the kind of day where nothing extraordinary ever seemed to happen. The sun cast golden hues over the neatly lined houses, birds chirped lazily in the distance, and a light breeze rustled through the trees. In the driveway of one such house, a sleek, glistening Porsche rolled in, its engine purring softly before coming to a halt. It wasn't the sort of car one would expect to see in this neighborhood, and certainly not one that should belong to a 17-year-old high school student who worked part-time at Pizza Hut. But there it was, gleaming under the sunlight like a trophy, drawing the stunned gazes of his parents as they rushed out of the house, their faces a mixture of confusion and disbelief. The boy stepped out casually, his expression unreadable, as if bringing home an expensive sports car was just another mundane event in his day. His parents stood frozen, their minds scrambling for a logical explanation. They knew exactly how much their son made at his job, and they knew, without a doubt, that it wasn't nearly enough to afford a Porsche, not even an old one. Their voices broke the eerie silence, a mix of panic and astonishment. Where had he gotten the car? Who had given it to him? Had he stolen it? Their questions came rapid fire, their worry escalating with every second. With remarkable composure, the boy shrugged and simply stated that he had bought it. The response did nothing to soothe his parents' nerves. If anything, it only heightened their concern. They pressed for more details, their voices rising. How had he, a teenager barely making minimum wage, purchased a car that cost more than their mortgage? His answer was so absurd that, for a moment, they thought he was joking. He had bought it for $20. His mother gasped, her heart pounding. His father furrowed his brows, disbelief etched into his face. No one in their right mind would sell a Porsche for $20. It wasn't possible. And yet, their son stood before them, insisting it was true. He explained, in his usual nonchalant manner, that a woman down the street, one of their new neighbors, had sold it to him. She had just moved in, and when he delivered her pizza, she casually offered him the car for an amount so insignificant it seemed like a prank. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, his parents exchanged worried glances before storming down the street. Their minds raced with possibilities. Was this some elaborate scam? Was their son unknowingly involved in something illegal? Their feet pounded against the pavement as they neared the house. There, in the front yard, a woman knelt in the soil, methodically planting a row of delicate flowers. She looked up as they approached, her face serene, as if completely unaware of the storm brewing within them. Politely but firmly, they demanded an explanation. Their son had come home with a Porsche, her Porsche, and he had paid almost nothing for it. Why would she sell such a valuable car for pocket change? What was really going on? The woman paused, wiping dirt from her hands, a slow, knowing smile spreading across her face. Then, with an air of quiet satisfaction, she told them her story. That morning, she had received a call from her husband, a man she had believed to be away on business in Florida. But he wasn't in Florida. He was in Hawaii with his secretary. He had no intention of coming back, and he had made that perfectly clear. As if the betrayal itself wasn't enough, he had given her one final instruction before disappearing into the sunset with his mistress. He had told her to sell his brand new Porsche and send him the money, and so, she had followed his instructions to the letter. She had sold his beloved car for $20. A quiet, stunned moment passed between them before the woman turned back to her flowers, humming softly to herself, her work in the soil far from over. The boy's parents stood there, speechless, realization dawning upon them. Their son hadn't been scammed. He hadn't stolen anything. He had simply been in the right place at the right time, an unwitting recipient of poetic justice served cold. As they walked back home, they couldn't help but laugh. Life, as it turned out, had a way of writing stories far stranger than fiction.